Listen, you got to get into some fights if you want to get better at sales, communication, persuasion, and just a general aura of confidence. And when I say fights, you're probably like, what the hell kind of ridiculous YouTube video title was this? But the reason I say that is because most people, when they're communicating with another person, and in sales this is extremely important, in dating this is extremely important, in general networking and connecting with people, fucking everything in life this is extremely important. Most people avoid confrontation at all costs. Most people have a mental focus point of wanting to move away from anything that they feel tension, anywhere that they feel a little bit of social pressure, anything that could go into a confrontational situation. So when I say that you got to get into some fights, if you want to be a better communicator, if you want to be someone who's more persuasive, more confident, has a bigger aura, the reason I say that is because if you're not afraid to go there, you're not afraid, if you've been there, you're still fucking alive, right? You're comfortable with the uncomfortable. That is something that a person feels. It's the same concept that people say about martial artists, right? If a martial artist, and not some bullshit kung fu dude, but, or you see those videos where people are like, you know, all that nonsense. Someone who actually can fuck people up. I'm actually a boxer myself. You can check it out on my Instagram. If you have that, people say that people tend to fuck with you less, even if you don't show that, even if they don't necessarily know it, because they can feel that you're completely down to go that path, to go down that path, right? That you're completely down to scrap, and they can feel the weight behind your presence within that. Now, if you're someone who's not willing to go there, then they feel that as well, right? And then they're actually gonna fuck with you more. So the guy, 50 Cent said this once, the guy who doesn't wanna fight is usually the guy who gets into the most fights in the schoolyard or wherever it may be. Because that sub-communicates that the other person is gonna be just fine if they pick a fight with you because you're not comfortable with that. And if you're not comfortable with that, you haven't been there, which means that you're most likely, you're not a dangerous motherfucker. And so anyways, bringing this back to communication, if you're in a sales conversation, a negotiation, right? A networking context, a dating context, whatever it may be, most people are careful with their words. They hold back their strongest opinions. They try not to offend. They try not to get into this situation, okay? But if you do that, if you try to really avoid this situation, then you're gonna be the person that's pleasing within that conversation, right? You're gonna be the person that's not really able to be themselves and set a powerful frame and be at the cause of that conversation. And to explain to you what I mean when I say the cause, I'm gonna give you a very, very understandable example. As a kid, we've all had this experience where you were just in the car with your parents or something like that, and you were at a stoplight, right? And you were with your brother or your friends in the backseat, and you were just thinking, oh, we're gonna make some funny faces to the driver next to us, right? So you're making these funny faces. And in that moment, there's two cars, right? And so nobody can hear each other, whatever. So the only thing that is there is like the sub-communication and the energy. And with that sub-communication, only one of the people in this dynamic is gonna feel uncomfortable. It's gonna feel like they're being weird. It's gonna feel the effect of what you're doing. Now, this sounds extremely stupid and simplistic, I understand, but I want it to be simplistic so you can actually understand the concept of being at the cause and being at the effect, right? Whenever you interact with any person, there's one person at the cause and another person at the effect. Like, you can go up to any stranger in the street and just put your hand out and just meet them, right? Even if it's some dude, and just be like, what's going on, man? What you up to? Okay. What were you thinking today? Those glasses. Okay. Oh, nice, man. Oh, great to meet you, right? Look, that's kind of weird to just rock up to any random dude and start a conversation like that. But if you are so comfortable with yourself and so certain in your reality that what you do and what you project out is the normal, is the standard, is the frame, that is cool and that is acceptable and that is the reality that it should be, that will go into this other person's subconscious mind. They will accept it as is. And so if you're comfortable in there, right, and you're comfortable in potential confrontation, then you're going to have more certainty in the reality that you're bringing out, because it doesn't matter what reality it is that you're trying to enforce. It matters who is more certain in their reality. And I promise you, if you master this sub-layer of communication, okay, of human interaction, you're going to fucking crush it in sales, in communication, in persuasion, in your dating life, in your networking life, all of the above. Just because nobody's actually aware of this layer that's beneath the surface. Because you can say anything you want if you're just certain and have the proper frame in your reality. And there's only one side of the conversation that can be at the cause. And then automatically, the other side will be at the effect. Okay? They're more influenced by you than you are by them. Okay? They're more going along with your opinions. They're more going along with your thoughts. They're more trying to please you, even if it's very subtle, right? Than you are to them. You are the leader, you are the alpha, you're the cause in the conversation. And you have to be that in order to get what you want. Now, sometimes it's best to purposely not be that. I'll give you a great example. As I said, I do boxing. So when I'm with my boxing coach, who's like 55 years old or something like that, guy's pretty fucking fit for his age, he'll probably whoop your ass in sparring. But anyways, when I'm with this guy, I put myself at the effect, right? I'm not gonna sit there and try to hold fucking frame over this guy because there's two reasons. Number one, if I'm gonna be doing that, I'm in a less of a learning state, right? Because I'm less putting him on a pedestal. I wanna do that with my coach, right? And number two, he's gonna be less, I'm not saying I can influence him that easily or whatever. This is a very, good guy himself, but I'm just saying I wanna do it for these reasons as well, even if I could. So number two is, I want him to be in his winner effect, him to be in the dominant position, him to be at the cause, because he's going to be more comfortable then, right? If I give him that position, obviously he also takes it, but I also give it, right? And so then he's going to have access to more of his genius, more of his capacities, because he's fully in his leadership, in his teacher role. If I start fucking trying to hold frame over this guy and trying to control the conversation and the setting and whatever, it's going to be suboptimal for my learning and for his teaching. So that's a great example where out of conscious awareness, you can choose also the other side, okay? So another example could potentially be, let's say that you're trying to network or trying to get a deal done with someone who's quite narcissistic, like myself. No, I'm joking, right? Then at that point, you could potentially, I'm not saying you should, but it depends on the case, but you could say, I'm just gonna present myself as slightly inferior and give this guy a lot of respect because I know that he likes that. And he'll be able to, get the deal done because, he wants this dynamic, for his personality. So you could also do that, or give him the idea that it was his idea within a sales school instead of giving him a recommendation or giving him advice, right? Those kinds of things can be applicable. But bringing this back to the actual fighting example. When I say fighting, I don't necessarily mean physical fighting, okay? Now, I'll be completely honest with you. For most people, it'll be amazing if they get into some physical fights, what it will do for your general confidence and general demeanor. I will never recommend that to anybody because honestly, the downside probably outweighs the upside because, at the end of the day, guys, you can get fucking killed out there. You can go to jail. You can fucking knock someone out and stomp and then they land on the sidewalk and you can go to jail for the rest of your life. You don't want any of that. It's just not worth it. But let's understand the concepts behind it, okay? At least, so that we still get some of the benefits. Now, if you have been in, real street fights and real situations to where it gets physical, and you just have proven to yourself over and over and over again that you can fucking handle yourself, no matter if it's 2 or 3 guys, no matter if they're fucking bigger, etc., then your subconscious knows when you're in a confrontation with someone, even if you're on the fucking phone, right? Like your subconscious just knows if it gets to that point, I have reference experiences that I can handle myself physically, okay? Now, look, we're in modern day times. Most of the times you're not gonna get anywhere near that point. But let's once again still just understand the concepts of what makes it help. And so if you have the understanding deep down, you're gonna be more comfortable with going into confrontation. You're gonna be more comfortable with saying whatever it is that you actually want and need to say, right? You're gonna be more comfortable with calling someone out. In a sales call, you're gonna be more comfortable with saying to someone, hey, look, that I completely understand that, you may not have the funds right now, but just to call you out as well, is that exactly the reason that you're here? And are you being completely transparent about how much you have, or are you telling me how much you're willing to tell me and comfortable with? Now, saying something like that in that way might seem simple and easy just in this video, but get on a call with someone. This goddamn phone keeps fucking ringing. Get on a call with someone and be in a situation where it's slightly uncomfortable, and then from there, see if you're able to say it in exactly that tone, with a downwards tonality, breaking rapport tonality, right? Breaking rapport means, breaking up the relational connection slightly, whereas trying for rapport means trying to connect more, right? And that's something that a lot of people are scared of. They're scared of speaking in a way with a tonality, right? And acting in a way that's breaking rapport. They can only do maybe neutral or trying for rapport, which makes you seem lower status, right? Because if you're trying for rapport, that inherently means that this person is above you. That's why when you speak to your teacher in fucking middle school or some shit, or your parents, depending on the situation, I never fucking spoke to my teachers like this, but like, hey sir, how are you doing today? Right? Or some shit like that. So that's because you're trying for rapport. That's because you're trying to build a connection. Because it's like this, right? They're here, you're here. And that's what you're trying to maintain. These sub-communications, you gotta understand, all have a reason and they all stem from somewhere. This is essentially all evolutionary psychology, okay? Because listen, when you were in a caveman tribe, there were certain behaviors, certain mannerisms, and certain tonalities, etc. And we didn't even really use language. That's why it's all sub-communication. It's like 90% sub-communication, meaning below the words, right? Body language, tonality, that kind of stuff, energy. And so we have these mannerisms, these behaviors, and this sub-communication that signals I'm below you or I'm above you. And that's why I always say, right? At the end of the day, you don't need to be the best on paper. You just need to behave and act like you're the best on paper, and you'll get the results and you'll become the best on paper. And a lot of people, they try to get the best on paper, right? Type of results to be able to be acting like the best on paper. Meanwhile, if you would flip that shit around and you would say, listen, I'm going to act like I'm the best on paper, even though I'm not yet. And that's going to create me being the best on paper. And the best example of this that I always give, guys, is like, listen, because so many people disagree with me on this, and they say like, yeah, no, because competence creates confidence. You see me flexing over here, guys. I told you I'm a narcissist. Anyway, because I'm looking at myself right now and I love it. Anyways, guys, so many people tell me like, oh, competence creates confidence. Yeah, no fucking shit, you dumbass, okay? Of course it creates some confidence, but that doesn't mean it's the only way to create confidence. And it also doesn't mean that you should wait for competence to be confident. If you step into learning a new skill with the mental stance, with the inner mentality that you are the best, okay? That your external skills just have to catch up to it, then you're going to access so much more of your capacity, okay, of your potential. Whereas if you step into that skill being like, oh, I'm a newbie and I'm gonna have to get competent, this, that, bro, you're gonna act like a newbie, okay? Your attitude allows you to learn faster, allows you to tap more capacity, allows you to be a better person and better at that thing that you're trying to do. So if you wanna learn the fucking piano, okay, you can be like, oh yeah, I'm shit at piano, I've never done it before, this, that, right? And you're gonna enter from that identity. Or you can be like, yeah, I'm very fucking musically talented. I'm the best piano player. Obviously, you know consciously that your external skills haven't caught up yet. But if you come into it from that identity and that mental stance, if you watch my videos more often, and I recommend that you scroll through this channel and watch them more, your mental stance ultimately creates your capabilities and your capacities in that moment. Okay, because we all know this concept of like, hey, sometimes I'm in shape, sometimes I fucking crush it, sometimes I'm in flow. Your mental stance largely creates that, because I can put you in two different environments. You, the exact same fucking person, can put you in two different rooms. One room, all the people are making 10K a month. Let's say that you're making 20, 30K a month. Other room, all the people are making $1 million a month, okay? Now, in room one, you're gonna be comfortable, you're gonna be funny, you're gonna be charismatic, okay? You're gonna be yourself, your own true, normal, natural charisma. And then room number two, you're gonna be stifled. You're not gonna have your charisma. All of a sudden, you're not funny anymore. You're the same fucking person in a different room. Why? Because you perceive yourself to be lower status in that room than the others, right? Your ego, your conscious mind, and your subconscious mind essentially thinks that you are lower on the totem pole than these other people. Now, why does that happen? Because if we look at evolutionary psychology, we grew up millions of years ago in tribes of about 50 people, 50, 100 people, right? And so you needed that tribe for your survival because of resources, because of, protection, all of that kind of stuff, food. And so we have a hardwired programming in our reptile brain, which is the oldest part of our brain. It's just a nickname for it, where essentially, if we are in a tribe and we don't perceive ourselves as the number one or the highest level in that tribe, we're gonna stifle ourselves, stifle our charisma, our funniness, etc. Basically act more subordinate, act more inferior. Because if we were to really act like we're number one, then the number one would actually fucking kill us, right? The actual number one would kill us. But in this current day and age, you can act like you're number one, even if you're not number one, and ain't shit gonna happen. Now, obviously, there's extreme scenarios, right? If we're talking about those physical altercation things, whatever, where that could happen. But generally speaking, right, if you have some wit about you, and there's some cases where you wanna be inferior, right? But in general, you can walk around like you're the fucking man. And this is the whole secret to manifesting too, guys, okay? If you want to manifest more success, what is the number one way to do it? Obviously, there's action, obviously there's work, right? But doing that action and that work from a place of you feeling and being the man already, I'll give you a quick thought exercise. Visualize yourself, an ultra successful version of yourself in 5 years, right? You have everything. You have hundreds of thousands or millions of followers. You have millions in the bank. You're making this, and visualize what the life would be like, right? You're respected. People look up to you. People listen to you. Whatever it may be that makes it click for you, that you really want. This whole vision, okay? And visualize that you are that right now, and that you are in that reality and in that identity right now. And how would you feel? And truly, before you ask yourself that fucking question, truly get yourself in that mental position, okay? If you're a fucking little bitch who can't think in a hypothetical scenario, then you might as well quit off this fucking video right now. Because I'm just about done with people that are like, oh, I can't fucking think in a hypothetical scenario. Are you fucking stupid, okay? Some of these other guys, just a quick side note here, guys, but some of these guys, just to motivate you to think in hypotheticals. I know some guys that are like, oh, they meet the first girl that they like, right? And the first girl that really likes them back. There's absolutely zero alignment in their life goals. There's absolutely zero alignment in their value structures. There's absolutely zero alignment in how they view relationships and their beliefs, okay? But, oh, this is the first girl that kind of likes me. Probably she was in scarcity, and most fucking certainly he was in scarcity, okay? And now all of a sudden this guy is in fucking love, right? I always tell this guy, these kinds of guys, I had a guy like that on my team before, I had some guys like that. Bro, visualize the following. You've achieved everything you wanted to achieve in the next couple of years, right? And you have all the options in terms of dating possible. Would you, and this goes for guys and girls alike, right? Would you then still choose this person? And 90% of the fucking time, if you truly put yourself in that hypothetical scenario, you would be like, absolutely fucking not, okay? Now, if the answer is truly yes, and then you years later find out that it truly was yes because you got all these options and you still would choose her, I respect it, great. But I see too many dudes that are ruining girls' lives just because they're like, oh yeah, I think I like her, because they have no fucking option whatsoever, right? And then from there on, they start going into this thing, they get successful, they get options now, and then they dump the fucking chick that was loyal to them in the first place, right? Because it wasn't actually their true type and what they're truly looking for. And you can make an argument like, oh, you found out what your type. Complete nonsense, bro. Come on. You deep down, you know, if you actually put some mental exercise on yourself, you know. You're just too fucking much of a pussy to admit it and to be by yourself right now. Anyways, that was a quick side note, but most likely important for everybody watching this video. So truly put yourself in this situation of how you would fucking feel if you had all of that. Okay, and you can even make it even more specific. Like, let's say that you were like 20 kilos heavier. Let's say that you were like a fucking martial arts expert. Let's say that you would look XYZ, okay? How would you then feel? You can make it, you can go any route with this. Let's say that you were just named the best salesperson in the world. Let's say that you were just achieved XYZ awards, right? Let's say you just are so famous, whatever. How would you feel now? And those feelings are what you need to integrate into yourself and condition into yourself on a daily basis by asking yourself this question again, and then locking in those feelings and moving into your day from motherfucking there. That is the fucking secret. Because in the Bible it says, right? Once you ask and you shall receive, and you have to basically believe that you've already received it, right? People that are manifestations say the same thing, right? And obviously, the last part, you believe that you already achieved it. And if you do, then you are acting the actions that that person would do. So it doesn't just stop there, but automatically you're gonna think like that person does, and you're gonna act like that, right? If you're not a pussy, and if you can actually do this properly. Now, it's not fucking easy, because you continuously have to put yourself in this mental stance, in this mental position, instead of this one, okay? You have to continuously reinforce it. Now, I completely understand that we went way off the rails in this video. Back, forth, left, right, up, down, and fucking center. But I hope you're enjoying it. And if you are, then actually, you know what? If you are enjoying this video, truly, send me a DM on Instagram, okay? That this helped you. I don't ask for shit from you, but that would be amazing for me, okay? Because I love hearing and seeing from people that are actually doing something with this shit, and are actually applying it to make something of themselves, and finally start fucking winning at the level that you truly yourself. You know that there's more left in the tank. You know that you have more fucking potential that's not coming out yet. And these are the ways that you can get it out. So with that being said, with the topic of this actual video, right? If you're willing to go into that confrontation, if you've been there, right? If you're willing to be in a let's keep it just verbal now, okay? We talked about the physical part, right? But let's keep it verbal now. If you're willing to go into confrontation verbally, right? To have that discomfort, to have that tension, to have quote unquote social pressure, then you're not gonna really need it as much, because the other person is not gonna wanna go there because he feels that you're willing to go there. It's the exact same thing as I just explained with the martial artist, right? People are not gonna wanna fight the guy because he has a presence about him that shows he's willing to do that. A great example as well, Conor McGregor, one of the most confident motherfuckers right now, okay? This guy, and look, regardless of what you think of him, this, that, we're talking about a lesson here. Stop getting into the weeds of things, okay? Basically, if you look at McGregor and his shit talking, right, in the UFC, especially back in the day and stuff, you could just tell, you could notice that people were always walking on eggshells around this fucking guy, because they knew damn well that any moment this guy can fucking go off and make him look like an absolute buffoon, right? Just basically degrade them, right? And people have a deep fear of being, how would you say that? Of just being made look like a fool, but being betaized, okay, for lack of a better word. Because once again, if you lose status in the tribe, right, if you go down in status, then that's very dangerous, because you're gonna lose resources, you're gonna lose protection, etc. from the tribe. And bottom line, you're gonna lower your chances of survival. And that is the main thing that your brain optimizes for, is to increase your chances of survival. And so the strategy that it has for that most often is to avoid confrontation, because confrontation can be dangerous. You can lose all that shit. So you have to consciously interject and override that system by conditioning it and showing it that confrontation for you is completely safe and gets you what you want. And guys, what I'm saying about this Conor McGregor example, am I saying that you need to go around like a fucking dickhead all the time now? No. But honestly, it would serve you well to sometimes try out a new jacket of personality. Put it on for a week, see how it fucking fits. See what kind of looks you get now. See what kind of results you get now. And then, once you've done that, bring it back to balance. So we always have a sweet spot. We have a left side, which is, in this case, let's call this side, because in general, it's always the left side. That's the fucking cucks. And then the right side is over the top, arrogant to an extent that it's unrelatable and you're just straight up annoying, okay? Well, why don't you just try on just this jacket for a week and play with your personality a little bit, okay? And you know already, like, hey, maybe this is not me, okay? Maybe this is not where I'm gonna end up, but you can just play around with it. People are gonna be like, oh, it's unethical. You're gonna be a dick to a few people in a week. Who fucking cares, man? Okay? Everybody's gonna be treated bad in their life. Okay, you know, try being a little bit more aloof. Try being a little bit more of an asshole. Not straight up an asshole, but just, you know, try it on. It's not like you're gonna hurt someone permanently, okay? Everybody's gonna be just fine, and it probably serve them as well. So anyway, try this jacket on, and then probably you're gonna see like, hey, it was actually not serving me too well, and you bring it right back to the sweet spot. If you wanna change something, usually it's best to go over the balance point, because then you automatically land there, right? As they say, shoot for the stars, You'll land on the fucking moon, or whatever the fuck that saying is. Kind of gay, actually. Anyway, that being said, if you start adopting those things, right, and you've tried on the asshole jacket and you've been in some confrontation through that, now you have a presence about you, just like if you've just sparred a bunch of rounds, you've had some some amateur fights in boxing, whatever it may be. Now you know that you're capable of doing it. And by the way, as far as the street fight thing, obviously, as I said, I'm not going to recommend you do that. But what I will recommend is getting to the boxing gym, get some heavy sparring rounds in, and also maybe do a couple fights. It'll do wonders for you, okay? Because now you've showed your brain that when it does get physical, you can still fucking survive, and you can just, essentially protect yourself. And that gives you this subconscious ease when you walk throughout the street, when you get on fucking sales calls, when you do anything, okay? So be comfortable there. And how do you get comfortable with something? It's by enduring it for an extended period of time to where you become indifferent to it. Anything that you're right now afraid, nervous, or scared of, go into it on a continuous basis daily until you're indifferent about it, until it makes you fucking bored. Now, when you are in that environment and it makes you bored, you know that you're fucking comfortable. Because you cannot be bored if something is fucking scaring the hell out of you, okay? So, what do I mean? I'm saying social pressure is just like going to this gym. You're having physical pressure pushed against your muscles, okay? And therefore, I personally don't really go to them, I just do boxing, but you're having this physical pressure, right? Pushing against your muscle fibers, breaking them, and because of that pressure, and you enduring it, it's gonna rebuild even stronger. Now that works the exact same way. And I'm not just saying that because that's some cool sounding analogy. It actually works the same way because I've gone through it myself. As social pressure. You essentially take on social pressure, you lift that motherfucker, you hold it, and it fucking is uncomfortable. You feel it, you feel the uncomfortable feelings in your body, and you allow it to be there. Okay? Once again, with the weight, you have it right there. It's really fucking heavy. You allow the tension to be there. You do another one. You do another one. You allow it to be there. It's okay. You feel it. It's okay. You let it be there. You get comfortable with those feelings. Okay? You get just like you get comfortable with the fucking weight. And your social muscle grows. Your confidence muscle grows. And now, the next time you go into a situation, you're gonna have that much more presence, that much more weight behind your words. Okay? In combination with the strategy I told you before, where you're mentally placing yourself into that high value position, embodying the identity of the person who would already be there and acting from there. Because once again, if you're acting from that identity, you don't have to ask yourself, hey, what line do I use? Hey, what objection handle do I use? Hey, what fucking tonality do? You can just look at the identity. What would this fucking guy do? And you would automatically get the answer. Just like within a company. A company has SOPs, right? But on a larger macro level, it has values, a mission statement, etc. So that the support rep, which is number 1001 in the company, can look at that and write back an email to a customer complaint based on the values of the company. So the CEO doesn't have to step in every fucking time and tell them exactly, hey, here's how you say it, this is the tone of the email, blah, 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 fucking blah. That'd be absolutely ridiculous. So why the fuck are you doing it with yourself? Look at the values, look at the beliefs, look at the, most importantly, the identity of, right, once again, of the company, but then with yourself, the identity of yourself that you need to be. Who would the person be that already had everything that you ever wanted in this fucking life? Bring that person to the motherfucking present. Act out of there, think out of there, feel out of there. Rather, think out of there, feel out of there, and then you'll automatically act out of there. Take that with you into everything you do, and I promise you, you'll increase the access that you have to your potential a tenfold, if not more. I hope this video served you, and once again, don't be afraid to get into some confrontation. The last thing I'll say about that confrontation thing, it doesn't have to be something bad, okay? Simple examples of confrontational moments that you can get into, which are good, which are ethical, and which you actually should, regardless of the fucking exercise, already be doing. You're in an airplane. I experienced this many times. And some idiot is playing fucking music or playing, letting his kids play this game or this movie out loud with all this crashing noise. Oh man, guys, I'm already getting fucking annoyed as I'm thinking about it. I'll go. I remember I was with my one of my ex-girlfriends, and we're sitting in this fucking plane, and she's very loose with shit, nothing matters to her. And I hear this nonsense going on a couple rows before, and I have noise canceling AirPods, right? But like, I'm just still hearing this shit, it's just fucking bugging the hell out of me. I go up, row after row after row, I'm like, listen, excuse me, could you put in some headphones, or otherwise, honestly shut it off, because it's bothering me. I say it in exactly that way, polite but strong, potentially inviting confrontation, right? Because I'm not like, hey, excuse me, sir. Okay, I'm not even gonna exaggerate, but like how most people do it is like, excuse me, sir. Okay, excuse me, sir. Don't want to bother you. Sorry that I'm coming up to you, but I'm sitting a couple rows back and I'm trying to get some sleep. It's like really bothering me. This sound. Would you please? Do you mind turning it off, or maybe potentially using some? Fuck that. Okay. In some situations, yeah, you want to be extra polite, right? Even if you want to get what you want, or even just for ethical reasons. But in this situation, this guy's like blasting music or blasting shit out loud. You shouldn't be doing that shit in the first place. Okay. Now, there was someone who was outside of my fucking house here, going to town on the leaves here with a goddamn leaf blower. Now, I'm not going to repeat what I said to this fucking guy, but God damn it, the one night that I went out and I wanted to get some sleep so I could have a productive day, get my ass woken up early, okay? Anyways, you get the point. There's plenty of situations where you, as a person, currently would be like, it's okay. It's not bothering me that much. Well, fuck that. Okay? Because even if it's not bothering you that much, it's a great exercise to like expand your comfort zone. Or if someone is bothering someone else, it's your duty as a fucking man. I've seen some YouTuber dudes that talk all this alpha male bullshit, and then there's some video of someone being bothered or robbed or something like that. I've seen some shit like that in the past, and the guy doesn't do shit. Okay? Personally, and this is really not even to brag, but just to make the point clear, I've gotten into multiple heavy fist fights, even more than that, because a woman was bothered, okay, and physically assaulted. Luckily, I've never been arrested because I was always in the right? You don't want to like obviously do that if you're not in the right, but like, yeah, like guys, that's not even something to brag about. That's just something completely normal to me, right? And every man should do that, and also have the capabilities to do that. So anyways, get yourself into more confrontational situations like that, because it'll grow your comfort zone, okay? Right now, your comfort zone is like this. Because every time you see something that's happening here, you're like, nah, I'm not gonna go there, right? Let's say that you were living in a city and you never left the city, okay? How comfortable would you be outside the city? You'd be like, fuck, holy shit, I've never been here. Obviously, okay? And then if you speak to someone who's been all around the world, you're gonna be less comfortable with this person because this person has a huge comfort zone. So it's just about making it a game to expand your comfort zone as much as possible within ethical and legal bounds. Okay, let's make that point. Do that, and I promise you, then even if you're within your circle, your presence, your words, there's going to be so much more weight behind anything you do, say, or act. Take that with you, apply it, and let me know on Instagram what the hell the effect is.